Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud.
Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JT, and we are back to the Crypto Den. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Today, we're going to be talking about why blockchains are more secure, safe than anything else in the world. Okay, it's a really important concept to understand because mainstream media has you believing that it's not safe, that it's not secure. Before I get into that topic, my name is Jake Tullis. I go by JT, and I run a digital asset hedge fund out of Cincinnati, Ohio called Bleeding Edge Capital. If you want to learn more about me, my background, and my fund, just click the little link in the banner. Okay, now on this screen here, I have two images that are going to explain why blockchains are more secure than traditional systems. It all has to deal with the architecture of the network, which is a really super nerdy thing to be talking about. It is a complex thing, but I hope that I can explain it simply enough to where it just makes sense intuitively. So I'm just going to take you to the screen and get into it. I want you to imagine, when you take a look at this, I want you to imagine what exactly a network would be. So on the left, we have Amazon. It's a large company. I'm talking about Amazon as a system, Amazon.com. Inside of Amazon, they're going to have subnets based on regions for the internet. And I don't know if they're in Russia or wherever, but that's the idea. So like you probably see this when you play video games. North American East, it's like the East Coast. North America West, that's the West Coast. And sometimes they'll have three for the middle part of America, and they do it by time zones or something else. So they have different networks or subnets under its entire network. It's all owned by Amazon. So if Amazon got compromised, everything inside this box is compromised. That's the entirety of Amazon. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this. Biggest corporate hacks of all time. Yahoo, 3 billion user accounts, 150 million Americans by Equifax, 1.1 billion, basically all of India. Largest biometric ID system taken. Marriott, 383 million. So when these companies get exploited, it is their entire system. The entire box here, everything on Amazon would be gone. Not gone, but it would be compromised, right? It's really important to understand that. It's called a single point of failure. In traditional systems, since there's one owner, there's always been this concept in cybersecurity called a single point of failure. When any part of the system gets compromised, the entire platform is gone. Now, let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a network, just like Amazon. But instead of Bitcoin owning all of the computers on its networks, it's actually just a bunch of Jim Bobs, volunteers for profit, individuals like me, that either start mining companies and do this in bulk or do it for a low amount in their home. Bitcoin does not own that hardware. That is this individual's hardware. So Amazon owns the hardware. Bitcoin, the community owns the hardware. Now, another really important part about this, outside of ownership. So just the fact that if you compromise Jim, you can't compromise Bob because they're two different owners, two different things. So you don't have a single point of failure. Another thing that's really important, really important, is that these people are across the globe. So the Bitcoin network doesn't have regions. It is a global network. Every node, there's 190 countries that run Bitcoin miners. I swear to you, it is a global network. And there's over 1 million devices on the network. So if I wanted to hack Bitcoin, and whatever I'm saying, just logically think about it. There's 2.5 trillion as a prize if you compromise Bitcoin. If it really wasn't secure, do you think they would have let it get to 2.5 trillion without trying with all their might? Think about it. The other really important piece to this is these 1 million computers. Every 10 minutes, they all ask each other if the ledger is the same and if all the transactions inside of that 10-minute block are in order. Which means if you wanted to compromise the network, you would need to have a person at each 51% of the network. So, 510,000 computers. They would need direct access to all of those computers, they would have 10 minutes to solve an encryption, SHA-128, that currently takes thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, currently takes tens of thousands of years to break. They'd have to do it in 10 minutes on 510,000 devices. Like, the probability of that happening is literally more digits than I can even say. It's past septillion. I don't even know what the number is. You are way more likely to win the jackpot for the next 700 days and get hit by lightning and die in turbulence and whatever else. It's impossible. It's genuinely impossible. The fact that Bitcoin hasn't been compromised already should tell you that it just simply isn't possible. So the biggest takeaway is Bitcoin. And this is all blockchains, but I'm only talking about Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin has this decentralized network of peer-to-peer computers that all work together to keep the network true and honest. And since no one owns it, it can't be controlled, so we all trust it because we can trust the code. I don't have to trust Jim and Bob. I trust the Bitcoin network's code to keep Jim and Bob in line because they can't violate the code, because they can't compromise the code because of what we just talked about. So everyone is incentivized through the token. If I am a miner, I own Bitcoin. If I were to do anything to even try to hurt the network, right, I would lose my net worth. I mean, Bitcoin would go to zero even if it did get compromised, right? There's no incentive to do it at that same time. It's just crazy for people to think that blockchain is not secure. Now, if you start thinking about Ethereum, Solana, XRP, XL, all this stuff, all these blockchains, they all have the same architecture as Bitcoin. They are a decentralized network of peer-to-peer computers. Where they all differentiate is the actual software those computers install to support the network. That's where you start getting into a lot of differences. And that's where the actual system design matters. Ethereum versus Solana versus XRP, it all produces different things. But the number one thing to understand is even the shittiest blockchain is more secure than Amazon because of the decentralized network with peer-to-peer communications. It's really important to understand that. That architecture allows for blockchains to persist without the intervention of man. So it is an automated, secure system out of control of anyone or anything. This is why I invest in it. This is why I have my hedge fund. I believe this is the biggest transition the internet will go through. I would liken it to 89 to 2001, 2001 to 2009-ish. We went from just websites to, okay, now we have a phone, now we have social media, and then now Bitcoin allows us to actually own things because we have this trustless environment where I don't care, about ownership or anything. I know it's safe. This network is safe. I know it is. And the people that understand this, that are investing in it, that are building on it, that are adopting it as institutions, understand this key concept. And that is why I believe it is the next bullish thing you could be investing in next to AI, I would say, and for talking about the future. This is a overhaul of the internet. Every single database will be a blockchain at some point. It's either going to be private or public. It's going to be fast or slow, more secure, higher performant. There's going to be all these things, but at the end of the day, every database will be a blockchain. Online and on-chain will be synonymous. There won't even be a difference eventually, because it is the most secure way to store your data. That's it. Hopefully you learned something. Most of you are not subscribed. Make sure you hit the sub button. I bring content like this all the time. I am a professional with over a decade of experience that manages high net worth, advisor, family office capital in this industry, and I'm bringing you this content to help you understand this asset class. If you like educational crypto content and you like hearing from credible resources, hit that sub. Alrighty. Until next time, y'all, take care of one another. Peace and love.